Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamacharam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha Utpatti Prakarana, Section 2. Increasing insight is being given into the goal of life, the goal of the soul. And while it is being given, you will hear again and again statements such as, all the austerities you do and all your japas and all your studies are useless if you don't understand who am I. Now, don't take it literally. This is not meant to deprive you of all this. It is just like saying someone who has prepared everything for a great travel. Everything. Money, car, planes, hotels, all things. But he's not clear about where he has to go. Keep that in that context. Another point, the more you gain any insight into what your goal is, greater is the effectiveness of your sadhana. If you are doing karma yoga, it will be profound. Bhakti yoga, it will be deeper. If you are doing anything with a mind that goes on understanding the deeper goal, all your activities will have a special stamp. So, never develop the idea, I have become a Vedantin, I have nothing to do with japa, nothing to do with just inquiry, who am I, the world is false. Shiva Satchidananda, that's all. And I'm the best knower of Vedanta. So that will be dull with understanding. So while Yoga Vasistha goes on giving the importance of the goal, if the intention is not to discourage you from various sadhanas, the integral yoga, that's the real sadhana in life. Rather, intensify your sadhana for that purpose. And the more you understand the purpose, greater is the effectiveness of your sadhana. Keeping that in view, we are entering to second section. Sage Vasistha introduces a mystic story, the story of Akashaja Brahmana. Akashaja means sky born. And Brahmana is one who is Vipra. Pra is progress. In English as well as in Sanskrit. Pra is Pragati. In English, progress. A very special type of progress. So whoever is living a life meant for attaining liberation, he is the Vipra. He is the Brahmana. He is the twice born. So, starting this story, it always starts once upon a time. There lived a very righteous Brahmana. He was known as Akashaja, which means sky born, not born of human beings, born of the sky. That itself gives you, breaks the suspense. How can anything be born out of the sky? But let's follow this story. He was intensely involved, constantly, with deep samadhi. He was enjoying sahaja samadhi all the time. And dedicated to the well-being of all, serving all. After a passage of some time, it implies he lived a longer time than usual. Death, the spirit of death, was surprised. Did I miss him? It is my duty to bring about death to every jiva, every individual soul. And how is it this person has gone on living? Why shouldn't I eat up this Brahmana? With that idea, he attacked Akashaja Brahmana. But in his process of attacking, he felt as if he was striking against a big rock. Instead of Akashaja Brahmana being affected, he himself got his nose broken. Yogi. Now, the spirit of death began to use his foxy intellect. Where should I station myself to hit him as my target? And he stationed himself in the middle of Meru mountain. It's a mystical mountain. And in that mountain there abides Satyaloka. Satyaloka is a very advanced plane. Anyone who goes there in that level, in a storyline, will gain tremendous power. So he will not have any deficiency in his strength. So with that in view, he went to that level. And now he attacked Akashaja Brahmana. The moment he entered the house of Akashaja Brahmana, he faced terrible fire around that great personality, Akashaja. A fire that has been arranged by Brahma, the creator. It's an old style story when you read what person does austerity and tempting forces of temptation try to upset the austerity. Led by the power of the austerity and approved by Brahma, something comes to shield the person. And so no one can affect the person who is practicing austerity. Keeping that storyline, Akashaja Brahmana was surrounded by a mystic fire. And this spirit of death pushed himself through the fire and tried to catch him by his hands. But he could not come within his grip. Now, therefore, he exercises immense power. He brought about 1,000 hands to capture him. But even those 1,000 hands could not touch him. He's there, but his hand goes and nothing happens to him. With 1,000 hands he tries to capture, but he can't even shake him. Jako rakhe sanya mari na ske hai koi. If you are protected by God, I'm just shifting to make you understand, then all the forces of the world cannot touch you. In this story, the spirit of death was extremely frustrated, and he approached the Lord of Death, Yamaraja. The spirit of death is a servant under Yamaraja, Dharmaraja, God of death. So he approaches God of death and said, "O Lord, how is it I'm unable to grip that Akashaja Brahmana?" Yama said, "Lord Yama, O death, you are not the one who kills people. You are simply an instrument. What kills them is their karmas. If karma is not there, then you can't kill anybody. It's karma that allows you to kill them. So therefore, try to look for his karmas. If you find, be a good detective, a good researcher. Find his karmas in this entire universe, where it is hiding. If you find tiniest of karma anywhere, you will succeed. You have my blessings. You know, so I'm spicing up this story. Now then, this spirit of death, under the title Mrityu, that spirit of death went on looking for the karmas of that Akashaja Brahmana. And he went, did a very thorough search all over countries, continents, lakes, rivers, forests, mountains, ocean shores, oceans, islands, cities, villages, nations, desert, realms of desert, and couldn't find the karma of Akashaja Brahmana. Try to understand in another way. Every soul is led by karma. So you have, your karma is everywhere in the world. You have been through millions and trillions of embodiments. There is a place where you have not been. It's also allegorical. So, in this life, your karmas may be confined to just some limited countries like Florida, or like some part of India, or Brazil, or whatsoever. But through many lives, you have been those places that your mind cannot imagine. There is no place in the universe where you have not been. Your karma and the universe are completely related together. So, for one who has not attained enlightenment, one who is gripped by karma, the question of finding karma and looking for karma doesn't have any problem. It's everywhere. Karma is everywhere. But in the case of one who is enlightened, that's what Akashaja Brahmana is. I'm breaking the suspense. Akasha. The simple term Akashaj, sky born. Look up to the sky and you see blue, beautiful blue. That's a sky born. Now look for its karmas. It appears, if it's not its appearance is glorifying its subtle source, the Akasha. Akasha you can't see, but the blue becomes a little expression of the vast space. So that blue is the Akashaja Brahmana. But I will not distract you at this stage. Again he goes to god of death Yama, who is also known as Dharmaraja. Again, this is the beauty of Hindu culture. The death relates to Dharmaraja, one who is the embodiment of kindness and compassion. In Mahabharata, Yudhishthira was Dharmaraja. All his personality is full of compassion. In other words, this whole project of leading the soul from one embodiment to another is backed by profound compassion. So death approached the Lord, Yama, Dharmaraja, and said, "O Lord, I am exhausted. I looked everywhere. Couldn't find the karma. So please tell me, where is his karma? Every day he's doing lots of things and there's no karma. What magic?" And Dharmaraja said, "This Akashaja has no karma. He has emerged out of Akasha, and he is as pure as Akasha." Akasha is vast sky, literally, implying pure consciousness. And there is no karma for him that will bring about his death. At this stage, just for understanding it well, as long as you are not enlightened, three types of karma remain controlling your movement. Sanchita, accumulated storehouse, which is a vast store of karmas from many lives. And out of those accumulated, that's called sanchit karma. Out of that vast store that cannot be exhausted mathematically, a pinch of that sanchit karma, a very small amount, is operating through your present existence, called prarabdha. So you are not exhausting all your karma, just a pinch out of it. The vast karma is there waiting in your bank. Divine bank. And that karma, that's called prarabdha, that gives you three things: jati, ayu, and bhoga. Jati in what class, in what family, in what type of family you should be born. You are a musician, you will gravitate to a musical family. If you are still desiring to have more music. If you are a yogi and not attain success, you will gravitate to that type of family that will be conducive to enable you to develop vairagya. So it can go both ways. You may come into a family that puts you in such torture that you have no idea. I'm just trying to give you a karmic operation is not simple, complex. Buddha came in a family where nobody wanted him to be Vairagi. They put obstructions. But those obstructions helped him to become a sannyasi. So that's how the karma operates, in a subtle way. Or he may come into the right type of family, where father is yogi, mother is a bhakta, and the whole family is a spiritual setup. All depends upon the type of, the grade of spiritual evolution you have attained. So, as I was talking, now prarabdha karma operates in three ways. Swecha prarabdha. Things happen in harmony with your wish, your aspiration, your desire, and you become surprised. Hardly you worked and you get beyond your imagination, success beyond imagination. Want to pick mangoes from the garden? Hardly you go there and you find all the mangoes down on the earth. I'm joking, but simple way to understand. And then that's called ichha prarabdha. Next one is aniccha prarabdha. Aniccha, you have not no plans. You want to stay cozy in your room, outside is a chill. But suddenly something happens, such urgency that you have to get out. That you can imagine what type of urgency, that much freedom you have. So it is not your wish, but nevertheless you have to do it. Another aspect of anicca. Now there's another next aspect called parecha prarabdha. Some experiences wait for you not because you have planned it, but people around you, they impress on you, please do this for us. And you find it quite joyous. You go into it, but you had not planned it initially. These three types of prarabdha can operate through every individual, even with enlightened people. But one big difference, those who are not enlightened, as prarabdha works out, as prarabdha fructifies, you are creating new karmas. The new karmas will follow the same mathematics. Part of it will go into sanchita, accumulated. They will not operate at all in this life. I will be wondering why of all the good karmas I did, nothing is happening. And so the karmas that you are creating, which will determine your future flow of life, it's called agami karma. Or there are two names. Agami means future. Means what's going to come. And kriyaman. Kriyaman, that which is active. The karma that is keep you in this world process. So, out of these three types of karmas, one who has attained enlightenment, from advanced point of view, all the three types burn up. None of the karma remains. That's what the spirit of death found. Couldn't find any karma. In appearance, however, prarabdha karma continues to stay as long as the body of a sage exists. As long as body-mind complex is there, prarabdha karma goes on up existing. But with the big difference, that prarabdha karma, as you live through, you are not creating new karmas. Though you become a source of dynamic activity, but you are not creating any karma. Because if activity proceeds from you with the recognition that God is working through you, then all the karma goes to God. If you are not enlightened, then no matter what you do, you highlight yourself, your ego. Something I did that has produced me this. And the good things are, oh, I have done so much. Nobody has done like that. So everything you do, ego gets involved with it. So, Akashaja Brahmana, now you can understand Akashaja Brahmana and his karmas. So, Dharmaraja, Yama, it goes on telling that this Akashaja Brahmana is stripped of all karmas, just as trees, objects, cities cannot exist in the sky. You can see them, clouds come and think that they are touching the sky, but the sky remains completely aloof. Similarly, karmas cannot dominate one who is enlightened, the Akashaja. So, O death, this Akashaja Brahmana is like the pure sky. There is no karma for him. There is no karma of the past. There is no karma of the present, no karma for the future. In a practical world, Akashaja Brahmana seems to be doing lot of activity. But we see activity in a sage because of ignorance, because we do not have that sensitivity to understand what is his state. You see only the outside of a person. For the one who is Akashaja, who is enlightened, for him, the world is not viewed as real. The world is illusion. His karmas, kind of a puzzle, his karmas justify his awareness nothing exists. How can that be? First point to understand that though from the highest point of view, transcendental point of view, or absolute point of view, for a sage, the world doesn't exist. There is nothing but Brahman. That's why he is a sage. Second point, from practical point of view, people find a sage amidst them. Now that sage and his personality is like a big blossom, creating lot of fragrance. No matter whatever happens to the sage, negative or positive, masses, people around, they are inspired by his activity. That's how all the big religions were born from great saints. In each religion, someone has done terrible sacrifice. But though he has lived a life of sacrifice, think of Socrates, he drank poison. And countless people are inspired by his example. Inspired not to drink poison. Jesus put on the cross and who gave the teaching, whoever wants to follow me must take up the cross. And I have explained to you the mystical meaning behind. In other words, all this karma of a sage, Shankaracharya calls it, vasantavat lokahite charanta. Just like spring season comes in a forest. It does many things. Certain things have a negative, spring season has a negative effect on them. All these snowy things that destroy with spring season, they're all blown away. And all good things begin to shine in spring. Similarly, movement, one who attains enlightenment does maximum good to the world and remains a source of inspiration for a very long time. But you don't have to wait until you become enlightened, even while you are moving towards enlightenment. You become a source of great inspiration and joy to people around you. One who is enlightened doesn't see his body-mind complex as his identity. He views this like a stick. Made up of crystal. So even though you are holding it, it is not obstructing your view. So the body-mind set is not obstructing the view that I am Brahman. And let the body-mind continue their work. This is brought out also in the Mahabharata. When Mahabharata war was over, Krishna says to Arjuna, come down from the chariot. And when he came down, the entire chariot burnt into ashes right before his eyes. And then Arjuna asks Krishna, why all this happened? Krishna said, don't be surprised, it happened long ago. During the Mahabharata battle process, Ashwatthama had discharged a special arrow that had burnt up the entire chariot. But Krishna said, I held the chariot by my will. And now since the battle is over, that chariot is taken away. It disappears. But all the time, It was only an appearance, sustained by divine will. That's another allegorical way of explaining the same point. You attain enlightenment and you don't view your body as your reality. All objects of this world, they are not real objects. They are your perceptions brought about by your mind. An enlightened mind, therefore, remains untouched. Before enlightenment, your mind goes on seeing the world as God's Leela, God's playground. Everything God is appearing, just like He has nothing else to do. Just as there is liquidity in the water, void in the sky, subtle vibrations in the wind, in the same way, pure consciousness is the predominating reality behind all activities, mental, verbal, physical action, manasa, vacha, karmana. All the actions that are done through speech, through mind, through action, all these are like illusory waves in the ocean of mirage. Therefore, this Akashaja Brahmana is Swayambhu. He has emerged out of himself. O death, this Akashaja didn't do any karma in the past, not done any karma in the present, no karmas for future. That relates to the reality of your soul. The self has nothing to do with karmas. The self is Brahman. Brahman is the absolute self. But as long as you view yourself as body which is made out of tattvas, earth, water, fire, air, ether. As long as there is body, there is destruction for the body. As long as you have body identity, you are going to experience death. But one who is enlightened cannot be gripped by karmas. There are three things grip the soul. Avidya, kama, karma. They are called three granthis. Karma granthi makes you be identified with your physical body. Kama granthi makes you identified with your subtle body, mind and intellect, etc. And avidya granthi makes you identified with your unconscious. So you are identified with three bodies, physical, subtle, causal, led by ignorance. But all the three bodies are not the reality. The real you is like the sky. Death asked, O Lord, how does this Akashaja, the Akasha, how does Akasha give rise to a sun? And where do all these elements come from that create the body? And Yama explains that Akasha is Brahman, and nothing can be born out of Brahman. Brahman alone is not a producer of the world. And all these elements, etc., they are all nothing but cosmic illusion, Maya. Just to remind you, that power of illusion is called Prakriti. And Prakriti has three aspects. Sattva predominating Prakriti is called Maya. Brahman through Maya expresses in three ways. Brahma the creator, Vishnu the sustainer, Shiva the destroyer. Same Brahman is operating as Brahma, Vishnu, expressing as Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva through sattva predominating Prakriti. Entire creation of all this is illusion, it's magical power of Brahman. Next, Rajas predominating Prakriti is called Avidya. Same Brahman through Avidya manifests as countless souls. They are known as jivas. And the jivas come in the grip of the world of time, space and causation. And all this is managed by Ishvara, God, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. And the souls flow through a process of evolution under the guidance of the divine set, Brahma, Vishnu. Third aspect, tamas predominating Prakriti, called tamasi Prakriti. That is the basis of Brahman appearing in the form of subtle elements. The scriptures describe Brahman first appears as Akasha. From Akasha arises air element. From air element arises fire element. From fire arises water. From water, earth. This is not ordinary chemistry. These are not ordinary elements. They are called tanmatras. They are principles of awareness. And they go to compose your mind, your intellect, their ego. They are composed by these tanmatras, these subtle elements. They are described as air, fire, water, but they have nothing to do with the real air, fire. These physical elements, they are the product of those tanmatras, as the tanmatras go through a complicated process of combination and permutation. This entire world, universe containing all these that I described, is the outgoing aspect of consciousness. And liberation is to discover the ingoing aspect. Let me explain to you. It's the same term that I have been using recently. Bhav pratyaya, pratyaya bhav. All experiences that souls are involved in, they are based on mental projection. Your mind interprets. That's behind all that. But the mental projections require a screen, a basis. That basis is pure consciousness. So, in relation to pure consciousness, your whole mental process is outgoing move. Allowing the mind, through the mind, to attain realization, that's called ingoing process. The ingoing process is your sadhana, your shravan, manan, nidhyasan, listening, reflection, meditation, and all the integral yoga. The end result, pratyaya bhav. This whole projection vanishes. They were not real. While you ate your popcorn, excited by what you see in the picture. You have not been seeing anything real. I'm joking. But also I'm not joking. People live through their life not attending to profounder matters in life. So you are just eating popcorns. And with this after. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukmiva Bandhana Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukhabhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om.